Hello, Flourish. My name is Brianna Torrey, and I am one of the newest experts here in Flourish. I am a craft show expert along with Amanda Lilly. Just a little bit of background about myself. I opened my own Etsy shop called Tailored by Tori, which is Inspired Sewn Creations, in 2011 and started selling on Etsy. And kind of during that time, I started up a small craft show that started as kind of like a trunk show based out of homes called Handmade Sale. Amanda Lilly was also part of that, kind of from the ground up. And we, again, started as just a small trunk show, doing shows in homes with just some friends that were crafty. And we started to grow that business, and now Handmade Sale hosts 2 shows a year. We're a large juried show. We have 40 to 50 vendors, and it's just been really exciting to kind of grow from there. So I was brought on as an expert because I have experience not only from the craft show participant side, as I've participated in numerous craft shows from, again, the small home trunk shows that Handmade Sale started as well as large 3-day country festivals. I've done weekly farmers markets. I've done the trendy, hip, urban downtown Atlanta shows. So I have the knowledge of participating in different kinds of shows, as well as the coordinating end and what people are looking for in vendors, the application process, and that kind of a thing. So I'm really excited and hope that Amanda and I are able to help you guys along the way, whether you are a seasoned craft show participant or just starting out. We are just so excited to be here to help you guys. We're going to be launching an Etsy shop pretty soon here called the Market Gals, and we are so excited to be able to offer you guys some services. We're going to have a very full, extensive craft show guide that will be available for purchase, that we are just going to be pouring out all of our brain knowledge about craft shows and the ins and outs that will be available to you guys, as well as we're going to be taking mentor calls. So if you guys just need a quick 30-minute pep talk and on how to get started and where to go and things like that, will be available for that as well. And one thing that we're really excited about sharing is our craft booth critiques. So a lot of the other experts will be able to do a shop critique, for example, on your Etsy shop. Well, this will be kind of like that, but for your craft show booth. So if you need help getting set up or getting started, we can be available for that. Or if you've got your booth kind of set up, but it's not quite right and you want some help on how to tweak it, we'll be working through how to do those critiques as well. Either via submitting photos or doing a live kind of Skype critique, and you can walk us through your booth, that kind of thing. So we're really excited to be able to start offering these services to you guys pretty soon. We'll be able to announce that once we've got it up and running, hopefully in the next few weeks. So bear with us as we kind of get everything launched and started. So like I said, I started my own business, Tailored by Tori, in 2011. My husband and I had just been married. We were living in a shoebox apartment. I didn't have any space to sew. I would pull my sewing machine out and sew on our apartment floor as I had a chance. And I thought that doing shows was way far-fetched. I was not professional, and I was just basically a hobby crafter, and that shows were for the big-time people. And once we started doing Handmade Sale, it was a really fun way to kind of dip my toes in the water and see how my products did in front of actual consumers, not just online or my family and friends, but to absolute strangers. And it was such a great way for me to kind of open myself up to the possibilities of what I could do in the future for craft shows. Like I said, since then, we've not only grown Handmade Sale, but I've also been able to grow my own abilities as I participate in different shows. And I've learned that just every single type of show is different. It doesn't matter where it is or what it is, it's always going to be completely different. Even if you do the same show multiple years in a row, it's still going to be different. As you know, this month in Flourish is all about mindset and setting goals. So I'm really excited to, for this specific presentation, to talk to you guys about goal setting and kind of casting your vision specifically for craft shows, which is just so perfect to start the new year. If your goal is to get into doing shows this year, you've been doing them, it's never too late, to set goals and to tweak those and kind of get those going. So as you guys may have seen, if you have the Flourish Planner, there is a section that Amanda and I did, a craft show guide, and it's got kind of some tips and tricks as well as a list of things to take with you to a craft show, things that maybe you hadn't thought of before, that we've kind of learned. And so that is in the Flourish Planner for you. If you have the planner, that's a good place to get started. And we are working on that official guide that will be available later that'll be way more extensive for that. So let's dive into it. So when you're setting goals for shows, you want to use an active voice. So you don't want to say, oh, I hope to do this, or I plan on doing this. You want to say, I will. I know Sarah is huge in kind of naming it and claiming it, make it yours, speak it out into the universe. So when you're setting goals, you come up with a goal and you're going to say, I will fill in the blank. When you're setting these goals, you want to know your cost breakdown. You want to know how much you need to make to be able to recoup your booth fee. If you dropped $150 on a booth fee, that doesn't mean $150 in sales get you back to where you are, because some of those $150 in sales were materials, they were your time and labor. So if you're setting a financial goal, you want to make sure that you are fully thinking about all of the costs that went into each item and how much you have to make. So recouping a $150 booth fee could actually mean $400 in sales. Or maybe it is only like $180 because your profit margin is just amazing. So you really need to know your own cost breakdown for each of your items and think through that. So when you're setting goals, you have to be very specific. Don't just say, I want to do really well today. Well, what does that look like? Doing well is different for everybody. So you want to say, I will sell 20 headbands. That is a very easily identifiable benchmark, and you can track it throughout the day and you can know what's going on. Or you can say, I will sell $200 before lunch. And then once you have set that goal, you want to drive all your marketing efforts towards achieving that goal. If your goal is to sell 20 headbands, you don't want your headbands to be in the back corner, kind of in a dark shaded area where people can't see them. No, you want it out front. You want them right there. You want them showcased with blinking lights everywhere pointing, hey, buy these headbands. A good example, Amanda and I did a local show put on by our plant and garden group, I guess, here in Cumming, Georgia. And I had this great idea to market tote bags with waterproof lining that were repurposed from vintage feed sacks and things like that. So I thought it was great for the shoppers that would be at the show. And so we created this big wall that was kind of the backdrop of the entire booth that had all the bags hanging on them. We went out to Home Depot and got some big spotlights, shop lights basically, that are only, I think, $5 or $10 a piece, super cheap for great lighting, and lit those babies up. And even later in the day, when they weren't doing as well as I wanted to, the event coordinators were doing announcements over the live speaker, announcing people having sales or deals or things like that to drive business to their booth. So I ran a flash sale on my tote bags so that it was announced over the entire show that Tailored by Tori was having a flash sale on tote bags for the next hour. So I set my goal was to sell tote bags, and I drove all of my marketing efforts towards those tote bags. You also want to be very optimistic. Again, positive mindset, but you want to be realistic. You want to think about the size of the show, the estimated attendance, what kind of shopper is going. So you don't want to say I'm going to sell baby headbands if there's not going to be probably a lot of new moms or that kind of person shopping. And if that's your whole target market, then maybe honestly that's not even the right show for you to begin with, but we can talk about that later. So you want to be realistic. You don't want to say, I'm going to sell $2,000 in sales today, and it's a small show put on by, a local PTA or something like that at a school. Chances are you might not do that kind of volume at a show of that size. So you want to be realistic, but very optimistic. And then you want to put your goals in writing, see it, visualize them, think about them, meditate on them throughout the week. See them happening and dwell on them and think about ways that you can make those goals happen throughout the week. Sometimes I've come up with ideas, thinking about them on, a Tuesday before the show, and then I'll have another idea on something I could do Thursday, and then, Saturday is show day. So I've had a chance to really think about those to really make them happen. You don't want any of this stuff to be last minute. If you happen to achieve your goal early at the show, let's say it goes until 6 and by noon you've already sold 20 headbands, then keep going. Set a new goal on the spot. I've done that before. You reach your goal and you're like, okay, great, that's going even better than I thought. So now I'm going to set this new goal, and I'm still going to drive all my marketing efforts into making that goal happen. A great way that I like to track, especially my sales, dollar-wise throughout a show, is I'll just keep a running tally on my phone, on my calculator app. So every time I make a sale, I'll just punch that in really quick, and so that I know at any given point how much money I've made throughout the day. So that's a good way to kind of help me track. If you want to write it down in like an inventory sheet or a notebook or something, that's a good idea too. But I always like throughout the day to just track my sales so I know exactly where I'm at any given point. And the important thing to talk about is, so you put all of this effort in, you've set all these goals, everything's great, you've driven all these marketing efforts, and then you don't reach your goal. So let's go back to the example of the tote bags at the Plant and Garden Show. I sold one tote bag all day. I made 20 of them, and I sold one. Big fat bummer, right? So I could have gotten really depressed, really upset, really angry, whatever emotions I wanted to feel, but I learned a lot that day. I learned that not only is that show not right for my types of items, but my target market was not there. And those bags, what I thought those bags would be great for the target market, it was not accurate. I was able to talk to a lot of shoppers, a lot of other vendors to figure out, some more feedback, positive and negative, about my items. And I soaked it all up and I used it as a learning experience. I've done shows where I've partnered with other people. Specifically, this time was not with Amanda. Amanda's an amazing booth partner. I have partnered with other people before and things aren't going well, maybe for them, and they've just become a real Debbie Downer throughout the day. Don't be that girl. Don't be that girl. You want to stay positive and upbeat. Any chance that you have to be out there in front of people, whether you meet your goals or you don't, it's never a failure. You are putting your name out there, you're learning things. Use every opportunity to be out there at a show as a chance to better yourself, to learn and grow more learn about your business and grow your business, and understand what products work in certain markets and what products don't work. Your first show, if this is going to be your first show, it might be a flop. I hope that it's not. I hope that you have all your I's dotted and T's crossed and everything goes great, but sometimes it might be a flop, and that's okay. And again, you're going to use that, you're going to take that, put it under your belt, and you're going to use it as a learning experience. Success it means different things to different people. So success to one person is not going to be the same as success to the next person. So some great questions to learn from a show to talk to the people is ask questions from the coordinators if you have a chance to meet and talk with the coordinators. If not, then talk to fellow participants. If I'm at a show and it's not going well, I'll ask the other participants, hey, get someone to watch my booth, and I'll go take a bathroom break and just kind of peruse other booths and ask, hey, how's your day going? Are you meeting your goals? Is everything going well? And sometimes you'll find out that no one's really doing well, and maybe it was the weather that day. Maybe the coordinators didn't do very well on their marketing efforts, and so I always start to ask questions when no one at the show is doing well, because that means that probably it was something on the coordinator's end that fell through, or maybe even something, again, like the horrible weather, and that's just completely outside of their control. It could be the time of year. Maybe the time of year is not great for craft shows. There's a lot of different things. So talk with everyone. Find out, is it just you, or are there a lot of other people that are not doing so well? You can look at your pricing strategy, your branding. If people are consistently picking up your items and saying, oh, this is too much or this is too little, look at your pricing strategy. Is it in fact your prices, or are they just not your target market because they're not willing to spend the amount of money that you should be able to command for that item? You can look at your branding. I love the phrase, Amanda and I have talked about this a lot, be your brand. When you are out there in person, you are representing your business. So you want your brand and you to be reflected in your business and in your booth setup. So use your branding colors. If you are kind of a hip, urban, trendy kind of company, you're not going to use rustic and country materials in your booth. That just doesn't really make a lot of sense. You're not going to use a lot of burlap and lace on your booth setup. No, you're going to use clean lines, sleek, maybe some metal, things like that. You're going to be very, very urban and chic with your setup. So you want to think through those things. Does your branding reflect? Are you kind of this kind of one-stop shop? So when people come to your booth, they get it. They know who you are. They know what you're about, and they understand you. Another thing Amanda and I talk about is being your true and genuine self. So again, being your brand, you are reflecting your brand and you're reflecting you. People like to shop handmade and indie because they like to get to know the person. So let them get to know you through your booth. Let yourself shine through. And that's what will hook them in, and that's what will keep people coming back. Another thing you can do while you are kind of walking around is collect business cards, and especially if you have someone that you see that their booth is amazing, collect business cards. You can often track on their social media and things like that. Kind of what are they doing throughout the day to advertise the show? What are they doing beforehand to get some ideas? Those are great ways to learn. And you can also use those business cards later to network. If you're trying to do more shows and you want to get more information, you can talk with them about other shows that they might be doing that year, any insights that they can give you, places they go, things they do, that kind of a thing. So it's also great to do networking. So kind of an acronym that I've learned that I love when goal setting is, I did not create this has been around since the 80s, but it's called SMART goals. So SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So you want your goals to be specific. Like we talked about earlier, I will sell 20 headbands. That is a very specific goal. It's measurable. It's easy to track throughout the day. It's attainable. Can I achieve with my current resources? I'm not going to say I will sell 20 headbands if I don't have the materials on hand to make 20 headbands, or I don't have the money to buy materials to make 20 headbands. Or like we talked about numbers, if you're trying to sell $2,000 at a really, really tiny show, that might not be very attainable, or like the R says of SMART, realistic. So you want to make sure that your goals make sense for a target, for a given market that you're selling at. And then timely, you want to remember, or you want to set a timeline for the show. A trend that I've noticed is usually shows are can be very busy first thing in the morning. Or first thing when they open, especially if the show coordinators are offering swag bags or gift bags or anything like that for the first few for the first few shoppers in the door. And then there's usually a lull throughout the middle of the day, and then sometimes you'll have kind of your later afternoon or evening shoppers. So there's usually a good kind of ebb and flow of the day. So if you have a chance to talk to people who have participated in this particular show before, if it's a new show for you, you can ask them what trends they've noticed throughout the day. Is it super busy in the morning, or does everybody show up closer to closing time for the day? So you can talk to them about that. And then the main thing, and this goes with mindset, is be positive. Be positive when you're setting your goals, and be positive when you're at the show. There is nothing more annoying when you walk up to a booth and it's super cute, everything's branded, everything's on point, and then the person running the booth is just sitting there on their phone and looks super grumpy. So you want to ask a question, but they're not very inviting, and it's weird, so you just kind of walk away. That's a missed sale. You don't want to do that. If people are in your booth, they're obviously somewhat interested in your products because you entice them enough to pull them in. So again, be your brand, be your true and genuine self. Engage with the person, talk with them, ask them if they have any questions. If they're kind of looking and, touching maybe a certain item, if there's a story behind that item, give them a quick 5-second overview story of that item. It might be just the kick that they need to say, hey, that's really cool. I love that. I got to take this home. This is fantastic. My husband or sister or daughter would totally appreciate that fact about that item. You want to engage with your shoppers and keep smiling, and don't give up on a show until it's over. I have had people come in, I've had a terrible day, and then I will have somebody come in at the end and buy hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. You just never know. Like I say, it's not over till the fat lady sings. So don't count a show over until it's absolutely over. I've been at shows where it closes down at 5 and people are having a crappy day, and so it's 4:00 and they just say, whatever, I'm just going to go ahead and pack up. Not only is that insanely unprofessional looking to the shoppers, but also to the coordinators, because now the people that are coming late are seeing it pack up. So the shoppers are feeling kind of awkward because they're saying, is the show almost over? Wait, what time is it? Am I late? What? Oh, no, wait, no, why are they breaking down? After they've left, now there's this huge gaping hole that used to be there. And so the shoppers think it looks kind of weird because it just looks odd. So it reflects poorly on you, and it reflects poorly on the coordinators, because the coordinators want to present this nice shiny craft show to the public, and now you've put a giant hole in it, literally. So don't leave. Stay till the end of the day. Be that positive person. We have a handmade sale. We have a guy, I'm just going to go ahead and give him a shout out because he's amazing. His name's Chad Floyd. He runs Chad Floyd Woodworks, and he has always stood out to us from the very first show that we did. He gets there, he sets up his booth, he has an amazing professional setup to show off his woodworking, and he will break down, right at time when the show closes, and he gets all of his stuff in his truck, and then he comes back in and he's helping peel tape up off the floor from where we marked out the booths. He's helping take down decorations. He's helping other people carry heavy items to their car. He's not just packing it up and calling it a day. And he does this whether he had a fantastic day at the show or whether he had a horrible day. And so his positivity, his enthusiasm, his willingness to just dive in and help not only us as the coordinators, but also his fellow crafters and artisans it's amazing. And he has left such a positive impression, and we will love him till the day we die, and we will promote him to the death. So be that person that stands out in other people's minds. Be memorable. It has been so good talking with you guys, and hopefully you guys have a little bit better idea about setting goals and casting your vision for your craft show. And we are going to be online while this is airing, so we'll be able to answer questions. And we're also always available in Club Flourish. You can tag myself, Brianna Torrey, or Amanda Lilly, or you can let Lara know about that you have a question and we need to be tagged, and she can help tag us as well. And we also, if you haven't heard, there is a craft show event page now in Facebook, so you can get on that. So if you have specific questions that you want to ask about craft shows, you can check in there. A lot of people have already asked some amazing questions about finding a show and lighting and setup and things like that. So you can post your question in there, and again, tag myself or Amanda, and we'll get back to you guys within 24 hours. And so yeah, it's been so good. I love my Flourish family, and you guys have been such a blessing to me since I joined last year, and I'm just so excited to be here as an expert and to help you guys grow. And I'm here. Bye guys.